And I am, as Aaron said, part of the professional development corps and do all sorts of things. But one of the things that I've been doing for the last couple of years is these little videos, fundamentals of effective grant writing. And so and part of that is trying to help PIs, educate PIs about best practices in preparing their grant materials. And so they asked me to talk today about the new common forms that NIH is requiring that just started on January 25th. I'm going to go ahead and share my slides with you in the chat so that because there are some links that I provide, and then I will share my slides, my screen here too. And I'll start the slideshow. All right, quick sanity check. Does everybody see my slides?
Yes.
We can see your
Yes.
slides.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. All right, so starting a couple of days ago, the NIH is requiring the use of Sci-NCV, and I'll tell you what that is if you don't know in the presentation, but mainly to prepare the biosketch. And so on top of the requirement to use Sci-NCV, there are some changes to the biosketch and to the other support document that you'll submit. So today's objectives, I think the time will be best spent if I give a little bit of context here, but then I want to do a walkthrough demonstration of Sci-NCV and have plenty of opportunities for you to ask questions. I thought we could do it a bit like a workshop, so I encourage you to just have a browser open and try following along as I go through the demonstration. All right, so first of all, you may have heard this term common forms. And so what does that mean? There has been an effort for many years to standardize forms across federal agencies. So if you have been in the position of submitting a NIH grant, and maybe even in the same cycle, submitting an NSF grant, for example, you may be able to relate to the fact that the forms are different. And so, your biosketch is different. And you have to completely revise your biosketch for this other agency. And so in order to streamline the effort for PIs, this is one of the main reasons of using Sci-NCV, they have standardized forms, some of the forms that you will use in your grant proposals, and you'll use this platform called Sci-NCV that I'll be talking a lot about today. Sci-NCV not only helps you prepare the biosketch, but it also has to certify your biosketch. So that's one of the new things that I'll talk about, one of the new requirements. And so a lot of the federal agencies have already adopted the common forms. NIH, for example, just adopted it this week. But then there are other agencies that are in the final stages of adopting the common forms. And so even if you're not even if you're not submitting to NIH, if you're submitting to DoD, for example, they're in the final stages of adopting these forms. So it's a good idea to familiarize yourself with the common forms and Sci-NCV. Why? So there's some really good reasons, in my opinion, and the first one being reduced PI burden. That's the one that I put in bold at the bottom. But some of the other reasons, better research security and clarity around foreign commitments. This precedes the current administration, the U.S. administration. It started back in 2021. But this is one of the main reasons, better research security. As Rob was saying before the meeting, and I'll mention this later, you're going to be asked to perform research security training, and that will go into effect in May. Don't have to worry about it now. It's something that they recommend you do, but you don't have to do it yet. Another reason, standardization across agencies. And like I was saying, you don't have to do a completely new, different biosketch for NSF that you do have to do for NIH. Streamline peer review. So if any of you have served on study sections, I've been on a few study sections recently. They have really streamlined the process. If you have gotten grant feedback and your feedback is competitive but not discussed, that's part of streamlining peer review, is that they're trying to cut down the time that it takes to review all of these proposals. And part of this is to make the biosketch not as lengthy and much more to the point, much more focused on the project. Okay. Please stop me if I'm going too fast or if you have questions, okay? And just speak up because I don't have the chat open right now. All right, so the timeline, some of the nitty-gritties, the biosketches already have to be generated by ScienceCV. So that started on January 25th. Full enforcement begins February 6th. So I was talking to somebody yesterday on email. They were having some trouble with the ScienceCV, and it turns out that that their proposal is due before February 6th. So I said, well, talk to the research office. Maybe you can still submit the old way. But after February 6th, which is coming up, errors are going to block submission if not in compliance. So you won't be able to submit. All right, here's where you might want to go to the chat window and get the link to these slides, because you can click on this link and that will take you to the notice that explains all of the new changes. So I think that's a useful resource to bookmark if you are planning to submit a proposal. All right, so this is a pretty busy slide, but it really tells you all the changes. There are a lot of changes in addition to using ScienceCV. So the first change that was made is that the identifying information was just the Commons ID. So you just needed your ERA Commons ID. Now the new biosketch will need your ORCID ID as well, your ORC ID. So one of the first steps that I'll talk about later when I tell you, here's the steps, the steps to get started is to get a ORC ID and link it to your ERA Commons and link it to ScienceCV. So that'll make more sense later, I promise. I just wanted to mention that now. Now, the old biosketch had a section called Education and Training. That is now called Professional Preparation. Basically the same content. Where did you get your PhD? Where did you go get your bachelor's degree, etc. Positions and scientific appointments and honors has now been shortened, is now just positions and appointments. Honors is now in what's called the supplement. So the biosketch has the common form that's common across agencies, and it has a supplement that is specific to NIH. So now your honors go into the supplement. Don't worry that ScienceCV will handle this, what goes where, and it will concatenate the supplement with the Commons biosketch. So ScienceCV will handle that for you. Relevant citations used to be under each contribution to science, and now you are limited to 10 products total. Okay, I'll say more about that later. Your personal statement used to be on the first page of the biosketch. It is now in the supplement, but it's pretty much the same. Honors, I mentioned that before. it's in the supplement form, and it used to have no limit, and now you have to limit it to 15 honors. So contribution to science, you used to be able to have 5 contributions with 4 relevant, excuse me, citations each. You still can have your 5 contributions. Now the character limit is 2,000. And you cannot provide full citations under each contribution. You can only text cite, so in-text citations. So, for example, author a year, the products that are listed. So basically, and I'll say more about this later, you have to decide what are the 10 products that you want to highlight. Usually these are journal articles. If you're an established PI, if you're a trainee, or you're helping your trainee prepare a proposal, maybe they would have a conference presentation or something like a poster presentation as a product. But they're limited to 10. They have to really be focused on the project, because your contributions to science can only cite these products, these 10 products. So as I said, I'll say more about that later. Finally, we used to be able to have a link to my bibliography, and now the only hyperlinks that can be in your BioSketch are those that are generated automatically by ScienceCV. So no more my bibliography link. Okay, let me pause there and see, does anybody have questions? Okay, not hearing.
I'm sorry, I do have
Go
a
ahead.
quick question, just for clarification for that hyperlinks.
Yeah.
So the one, I am a grants administrator and not a PI. And so the one BioSketch that I did see that was completed had a hyperlink for every citation, at every citation. And they're the ones that are allowed?
Yes, because those are automatically generated by ScienceCV. That was something that was a question that has been asked of the agencies, because it was, there was a statement about not allowing hyperlinks, but yet ScienceCV automatically generates hyperlinks. So they have assured us that that hyperlinks are okay as long as they're generated by ScienceCV. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. We just submitted that BioSketch to another institution, and they said that they were not allowed and that we had to find a way to remove them. So I just need to find that guidance somewhere to provide them with that guidance.
It's a known issue. And so that I was watching a video from the University of Michigan research office had basically a tutorial video on the new changes. And at that time, that the video came out in December. At that time, they were trying to, they said they had reached out for clarification and hadn't heard back yet. But then a source that I found said that those hyperlinks are fine.
Yeah. The Michigan is the one that I also had that video, and they're also the ones that are telling me I need to have them removed. So
okay. Oh, wow.
So yeah, it is confusion for every institution right now over those hyperlinks. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that question, because I do have this, I do have that as one of the issues that has come up. So, all right.
Amanda? We have a couple more
Amanda?
questions. Amanda?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for doing this, Amy. I had a question. So in the last revision of the BioSketch, they had us put our funding sources as like ongoing projects we'd like to highlight. Do those go in here now? Where do those go? Do they go in the products part, or where do they go?
Those go in, those go in other support, and you will have an other support document that's also created by ScienceCV. You will have active projects and you will have pending projects.
Okay. So there's no like, I'd like to highlight this grant that's particularly relevant to my current project that I'm proposing in the BioSketch itself.
No, I mean, you can certainly talk about that in your personal statement.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
James?
So regarding the products, you mentioned 10 products are allowed.
Yeah.
And then, so it was five, five things and then 4 relevant citations per, so that would have been 20 under the old arrangement. So now we're
Yeah.
having that, it's only 10 total.
It's worse than that because you used to be able to highlight 4 under your personal statement as well. So you used to be able to have 24 and now you have to whittle it down to 10. So I think it's the biggest change and the biggest challenge that PIs are going to face. You also, so those 10, you have to select 5 that are most relevant to the current project and 5 that are not necessary, the other ones that you want to highlight. So that's going to be the biggest challenge, I think.
Andrea?
Hi, I wanted to go back to the question about other support. In the instructions, it says active and proposals, but they also say to actually include the current submission as part of your pending support. So for
Oh.
example, so the way that the instructions are read is include your current application that you're doing right now as part of pending.
Okay, that seems redundant, but
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do
But-
we move from that?
I don't quite understand what your question is, though.
So is the recommendation to just do it? Do we should not do it? I mean, is the interpretation correct?
Yeah, if you,
I can make a comment. Yes, you
Mhm.
have to include the grant that you're applying for. And at the top, you put the name of it and then you write somewhere, this application or the application under consideration.
Got
oh,
it.
okay, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
The
I'm
grant-
glad
the-
there's a
the-
grants person on the call because
Well,
you
I'm not
can
a
better
grants
answer.
person. I'm Velia. I'm the department chair,
Oh, hi,
but we just
Velia.
went through this. Thank you, Amy, with somebody, and your grants pre-award person should be aware of this, but you can remind them of it.
But
Thank
how
you.
would
Thank you,
you
Bella.
put a date on it? Because it requires a start and end date.
You put the proposed start and end dates. You put what your application is.
Mhm.
It's just they want to keep track of everything, I guess.
Yeah.
Kevin?
Okay, thank you, Eric. Yeah, Kevin from Nemos. So I have a question regarding the personal statement and the citations. So my question is, do we need to make the bioscale specific to each project? So let's say I have project 1, project 2 in the personal statement and citation. So if we need to be specific to each project, so does that mean that we need to have different version of the bioscale, the new forms?
So I only
Yeah.
caught a little bit of what you said. So
Yeah.
The personal statement,
Yeah.
do you have to have another version of the personal statement?
Yes, that's my question. Let's say I have different for the older version, right? Typically, we need to
older-
tell, older version, typically we need to tell to the project specific. Let's say, oh, I
Yeah.
am the PI for the project A, then I submit another grant. Then in the older version, I need to tell the
You need to tailor
bioscale,
it.
yeah, tailor it to the new version. Oh, I'm the
Mhm.
PI for the project B.
Mhm.
So since the new version, my question is, since we need to sign off, my understanding, we need to sign all the new fonts, new format. So my
Mhm.
question is, does that policy still apply? Do we still need to tailor to different version, especially the
Yes.
different project?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you will see when I do the demo that
Yeah.
you can make you can have several. I don't know if there's a limit. I
Right.
don't even think there's a limit. You can have a bunch of bio sketches. So you and you should name them according to the project and
Right, right.
definitely tailor them. You know, one of the things that a big pet peeve that reviewers have on study sections is that the personal statement is very generic. And especially if it's a fellowship proposal, you know, I don't really, as a reviewer, I don't really care as much about what your accomplishments in science are. I want to know, how are you going to help this? How are you going to help this trainee? You know, how are you going to contribute to the project? So yeah, it's very essential that you tailor your personal statement to the proposal. And so you'll be able to have, you'll see, you can have multiple bio sketches.
Right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's my
Mhm.
question. Yeah.
Do we have any additional questions for Amy, or we can let her keep going? All right, Amy. Keep
Okay.
going.
Yeah, so basically the two big new things that are required is using ScienceCV, and then also having an ORC ID that you are going to link between ERA Commons and link to ScienceCV. Sorry, I'm still coughing after an illness a while ago, and so I still have a bit of a tickle. All right, so one of the big changes to the bio sketch, besides the two that I just mentioned, is that the fellowships and career development applications no longer have to include their grades. So there's no longer a scholastic performance section. That's for fellowships. The reverse chronological order. I know this this could kind of drive you crazy at the end of as you're trying to submit your proposal, and you realize, oh, it's not in reverse chronological order. This thankfully is all done automatically for you in ScienceCV. So this order is consistent across all federal agencies. So no longer do you have, you know, one order for NSF, another order for NIH. So that hopefully, you know, like I said, reducing PI burden is one of the main objectives of this. Now, we were already talking about other support. It needs to be standardized across agencies, whereas previously it was in different forms and different formats for every agency. So I've mentioned this already, but the personal statement and contributions to science are in a supplemental form, and the core biographical information is in the BioSketch proper, and the personal statement and contributions are in this supplement. But again, ScienceCV handles this automatically. It'll merge the two documents into one PDF, and it'll be you'll be able to just submit that PDF in your proposal. I mentioned this earlier too. Research security training is going to be required in starting May 25th. You can see that notice if you're interested, and you want a link. You want the link, you can just go to my slides. Yeah, this is the big thing that I mentioned earlier. We're limited to 10 research products. So you can only cite those products in your BioSketch. You no longer have that full citation under the personal statement and the contributions to science. But the format of the in-text citation is up to you. They recommend having the authors, the journal, and the year. But you do have a character limit, so keep that in mind too. So you might want to use et al. A lot instead of listing all the authors, for example. Rob was mentioning our RPRR. If you currently have a grant, you're going to need to use ScienceCV for your RPRR, just if the key personnel have changed. So if you need to provide an additional BioSketch, that PI would have to, or that person will have to use ScienceCV to create the new BioSketch. And then also updates to current or pending support, what the other support form will need to be created by ScienceCV. I mentioned this earlier, but February 6th is kind of the deadline for triggering a hard error and preventing the submission of any application that doesn't use the certified ScienceCV PDF format. So in the past, if you used an old template, it may have just triggered a warning, but now you won't be able to submit your application. All right, so getting into Science CV, I'll just pause here and see if quickly have any questions come up since last we had a pause. Okay. All right, so what is Science CV? It stands for Science Expert Network Curriculum Vitae. It's a BioSketch profile service for federal research agencies. It's a free online tool. You have centralized data. It generates a PDF of common forms and links to ORCID. Some things that are some advantages to using Science CV. It takes care of formatting. It's cloud-based, so you can access from anywhere. As I was saying, you can create and store multiple biosketches for different proposals and agencies, and you can have a delegate make or modify your biosketch and other support, and the information can be populated from ORCID or ERA Commons, so you might already have information that can be populated right in to your biosketch. All right, so I'm going to see if I can do this here. Going to Science CV. I'm already, see, I was already logged in. Yes, here I am. All right. Andrea has a question.
Yeah, sorry about that. So you had mentioned that the documents are now locked with our ORCID IDs. So when we write our ORCID also has a brief like personal statement or paragraph. Do we need to be very cognizant about what we are writing in our ORCID domain every single time when we submit a biosketch? Because it will change, right? So there's a possibility that the ORCID might say something and then the biosketch might say something in addition to.
Yeah. The information that ORCID pulls is limited, or that Science CV pulls from ORCID is limited. It will pull, it basically helps you populate all of your papers, your research articles.
Yes, but when you create a PDF, it gives the ORCID ID. So
it gives the ORCID ID, yes.
So when you link it, it's a hyperlink. So when you click it, you go to your public domain of the ORCID.
I think I had a glitch happen. So Andrea, could you, I missed what you were.
Oh, I was saying that I was saying that the biosketch populates from your ORCID ID, but once you go into transformation of the PDF, it will actually put your ORCID ID instead of the ARES Commons ID, which used to be there. So now it's the ORCID ID and it's a hyperlink. So that will actually automatically take you to the public domain of ORCID. My concern with that is that sometimes ORCID might not be necessarily up to date and you might be conveying like different, theoretically speaking, different types of messages because like you very well said, you should have different biosketches for different people or for different grants.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that I hadn't thought of. That's a great question. Yeah, maybe it makes sense to make sure that whatever you have in your ORCID account is consistent. It's general enough to apply to whatever proposals you're submitting. I can tell you that the reviewers aren't going to be going to your ORCID ID or your account and looking you up. By and large, they're not really going to be scrutinizing that, especially now in this transition phase where everybody's just getting used to all these changes. I really don't think that it's something to worry about too much. Most people don't have a whole lot of information in their ORCID account. So really the idea is that you can populate into Science CV, the things that you want to go into your bio sketch. But yeah, maybe we can connect if you have further questions about that, we can connect offline. I can do a little bit of research on that in the meantime.
Sorry, Amy, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So the ERA comments doesn't like get outputted. It doesn't appear on the biosketch at the end, right? It's just the ORCID ID.
The ERA Commons does, yes.
It does? Because mine
Yeah.
doesn't show my ERA comments, I think.
Oh, you're right. It's just the
not
org
there.
ID.
It's
Yeah.
just the ORCID ID. So is that okay? I mean, I was very surprised by not seeing ERA comments there. And I thought
Yeah.
I've done something wrong.
No, it actually makes sense because this is a common form. So that is going to be the org ID is going to be on any grant that whatever agency you're submitting to, your org ID is going to be there. For NIH, your ERA, your ERA Commons is specific to NIH.
Yeah, but it doesn't
Right.
even appear on the supplement, right?
No, it doesn't.
So do we have to do something to link our ERA comments to our ORCID?
My ERA Commons and ORCID are linked, and it doesn't put it on there.
Rob?
Yeah, just a quick comment. I think because of the way the Science CV is set up, and because the ERA Commons ID isn't that informative for reviewers, it's linked behind the scenes by the fact that you've got that account. So the people that need your ERA Commons login have it if they need it. It doesn't have to be on again, this is my understanding of what the intent
Yeah, but
is.
do I have to do anything on the ORCID side to add the ERA comments? That's my question.
Oh, that I don't know.
No, I don't believe you do. Because like I said, I have all three linked.
And it doesn't make a difference, yeah.
No. Your ERA Commons ID is going to be on your application. It's just not on your bio sketch. Yeah.
And if I could add one more thing, Amy, and maybe you can comment on it or we can talk about it, but the ORCID profile is outside of the thing you're certifying. So the documents that you really need to pay attention to are the biosketch and the other support in particular, because now they're certified, which is different than the way we used to submit things. The ORCID should be best practices and have that as up to date as possible, but as we know, that takes a while sometimes to update. But could you comment a little bit about the change from you used to submit and you would kind of submit information, this is to the best of my knowledge, but now the PIs are certifying a federal document which actually carries significant weight, and that you really need to pay attention to what's in those documents because you're if you're falsely claiming something or leaving something out, you've left yourself open for all kinds of problems down the road. So do you know anything more about the certification or information about making people aware of what it means to certify a document in a federal grant?
Well, I do have something on a slide later about that, but you will have to certify that you're not part of a malign talent organization. And so if there's any doubt, then get some advice about it. But any document that you sign, any contract that you sign, you want to read the fine print, and so know what you're signing. But that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest change. You're certified. It was implied before that you're not putting any false information in your proposal anywhere. But now you're certifying. You're basically saying that everything in here is correct, and you're signing this agreement that you're not part of a malign talent organization.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think is best practice when you certify something, you should be able to back it up. It's no longer, this is to the best of my knowledge true. This is true and I can prove it.
Mhm.
So that's something to keep in mind. I also want to point out that you're sharing your Teams window. I don't know if you're aware of that, Amy.
Oh,
We don't see your slides. your
okay. Yeah,
presentation.
something
I
happened.
think that was
Okay.
the glitch. And
Yeah.
also, Amy,
Oh.
there was a comment in the chat, so I'll just read it. In Science
Mhm.
CV, I have my ORCID linked, but when I try to create a new document using an external source, the option for ORCID is grayed out. I'm able to select ERA Commons as an external source. I'm able to pull from ORCID for the products section if I start it as a blank document. Does anyone else have this issue?
Hmm. I haven't heard about that issue. But who was that? Oaks?
Hi, can you hear me? I can jump in
Yeah.
on it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've had my ORCID and everything set up for a long time. And I've actually had them linked for I don't know how many years. So I don't know, maybe if I just need to delete the links and redo the links. But I was just kind of curious if anyone else has had this issue. But it sounds, I searched online and couldn't find much. But
Mhm.
that's true for a lot of stuff with this
Yeah, this is a
transition.
yeah. If you want to set up I'll put my email in the chat and maybe we could set up a time to, jump on Teams or Zoom and see if we can figure it out.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Mhm. Um, okay, so let me make sure I'm sharing the right. Here, I'll put my email in the chat. And now I'm going to share. I'm not very good at Teams, so what I want to share is my browser, but it sounds like what I'm doing is sharing my. Okay, now what do you see?
We see that NIH biographical sketch common
Okay.
form.
Okay, great. And now I'll switch to this other window, and that worked, right? Now you're seeing
We see
Science
Science
CV?
CV. Yep.
Okay. All right. So let me just show you step by step what you're going to do. If you've never used Science CV before, you go ahead and go to this ncbi.nlm.nih.gov/labs/sciencecv. And you can follow along as I go through. So you can see, here's my ERA Commons ID. So that's here. My title, my name, my institution. Now I have two documents here. You can have a lot more. I have a demo that I made already, but I'm just going to show you what you do if you want to create a fully new document. So I'm going to click New Document. I'm going to call it something that is distinct. So I'll just say, say I'm submitting an R21. I'm just going to call it Demo, so we know it's a demo. And what you're going to do is select NIH Biographical Sketch Common Form. Okay, you're going to select that. And we can just start with a blank document. You have the option, you can explore these other options. You can use an external source, you can use existing document in Science CV, but I'm just going to start with a blank document, create that. And now here I am in the NIH Biographical Sketch Common Form. You can see there's quite a bit of information for each section, including instructions. So so go ahead and, feel free to read through the instructions instead of having to sort through all the instructions on another browser window, you can just open up this instructions here. A lot of the instructions, you'll be forced to comply, like character limits, word limits, and things like that. But the system will automatically let you know if you've exceeded things like that. All right, so you have your identifying information. That's all brought in from ERA Commons. Your professional preparation, that's where you will put in your education. So, where you got your PhD, things like that. So just as a demonstration, I'll just put in my Miami University is where I got my PhD. Oxford, Ohio. And then you select your degree. They have bachelor's degree and everything, so they have a lot of options there. Put my field of study and date myself here. And then, yeah. And so then you save. And there it is. I'm getting a error, which of course is happening while I'm doing a live demonstration. Yeah, no, that error went away. I'm not sure what that was. So you're just gonna fill out these other sections. Notice that my present position was already auto-populated, so I didn't have to do that. But if I want to put, the assistant professor at my current institution, I can put that there. Ashley, you have a question?
Hi, yes, thank you so much for this. This has been really helpful so far. I wondered if if you forget something when you're putting it in, I realize it needs to be in reverse chronological order. So I'm wondering if you forget something, is there a way to like drag and drop these into different orders, or are you having to like delete what you've
Oh,
entered to add the
um,
thing you forgot, if that makes sense? That speaks to you
yeah.
about my organizational level that I'm already asking about how I'm gonna enter things I forgot to put in.
You will love this. It automatically does it. So it doesn't matter the order you put it in, it will automatically put it in your appointments and positions in reverse chronological order.
Awesome. Okay, I thought that's what I understood you to say, but I just want to clarify.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
it
That's
makes it
wonderful
so
news.
much easier.
For
Yeah.
sure. Thanks.
Amanda.
Hi. Yeah, so what if you have two present positions? Like it doesn't let you put in, so say I want to say I'm a research scientist at Nemours, but I'm also an affiliated assistant professor with UD. How do I do that?
You don't have to put in an end date.
But
You leave
under
that.
current, it won't let me put two current positions.
So you have this option of saying a primary appointment or position, and you're saying that it's not allowing you to put in anything else in this?
Yeah, so I select primary appointment position as, right, yeah, so that's exactly, so I have it as primary appointment position as research scientist at Nemours, and then I have assistant professor at UD as a present position, and it says 2021 to present, but then under current, it says no. So I don't know if that's just a glitch and something that is just part of what it is, or if I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, I don't think you're doing something wrong. I think that is a glitch that I wasn't aware of. So let me check into that check into that for you.
Yeah, thank
But
you.
my guess is that that's just something that they didn't anticipate is having dual appointments, which is it's very common. So I'm sure you're not the only one who's having this issue. So
Okay,
let
thank you.
me find out for
Yeah,
you
thank
on
you so
that.
much.
Okay, other questions so far? Okay, so then here's where you put in your products. Here, you might want to read this, what are acceptable products? I'll let you read that on your own. Most of us use research articles as products. And then, so here I will notice that you have two sections. You have products closely related to the proposed project, and you have other significant products highlighting contributions to science. And you can select up to 5 for each. So here's where your ORCID ID, or you can also populate from my bibliography. I'll use ORCID. So if I wanted to include this Rosenblum citation, this George citation, I can click, one of, and 5 of my publications. So I'll click these 5. And then I notice that it says you can only select 5. All right. So there's a lot of the formatting and requirements are already built into the system. Okay. So then your products are here. And then you can go on to other significant products. That's the same.
Sorry, Amy, this is what something confused me here is that it doesn't put it in order chronologically. And if that is that
Yes,
it
puts it
puts
this
it
is
in the
another,
order you selected, which is
it's the
weird.
order you select it. And that is very puzzling why it's set up that way. That is a known glitch. That's a
Yeah.
known glitch. So as you're clicking, be mindful of what order, if you want your products to be in a particular order, like you want to put maybe the most recent ones first, or you want to put the most relevant ones first, the order that you click them matters. And so you may have to edit products, unclick, and click another one, or play around with the order that you click them. Let's see what that did. Yeah. Yeah, so it kept that Rosenblum at the top. So yeah, that's a known glitch. So okay, so now go
got
ahead.
a couple of questions here. I have a question. Can you put in a product that is not listed in ORCID or my bibliography? Is there a manual entry?
You can add to ORCID, but there's no manual entry in Science CV.
Okay. I can't remember if it's ORCID or if it was something else that I was using, but I was just having problems that it was auto-populating information in ORCID that I thought was incorrect or misleading.
Yeah.
So I was hoping to be able to manually add or correct some of the things that I was going to be adding.
That's one of the downsides of this platform is that because it needs to be linked to ORCID, it populates from ORCID. You have to go to the source, which is ORCID, to correct things like that. And so if you want to manually add something, then you have to add it to your ORCID account rather than. So in other words, once you have created the PDF, you can, so I think if you have used Science EV before, there was a way to just download it and edit it. No longer. You can't do that anymore. You can't get rid of white space. You can't add white space. You can't do anything because you do have to generate that PDF and certify it. There's no option to generate like a Word doc and be able to manually change. That's the whole idea of having a certified document, is that it's created by Science EV, you certify it, it's an official document. If you want to make a change after you've certified it, you have to go back and do it again. You have to go back and change it, create the PDF again, recertify it.
Uh-huh. And
if
I can't correct it in ORCID, then I'm just out of luck then, huh?
Well, I'm sure there's a way to create to add it to ORCID.
Well, I can't remember if it was ORCID or something else that was giving me problems, but there was just there was stuff in one of them that was just I couldn't fix.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Did you, because there's another option you can use besides populating from ORCID, you could use from NCBI, My Bibliography. I know for sure you can edit that information in NCBI.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have one of those.
Okay,
And
so
I'm not sure if does that only populate from medical journals? Is that the one I'm thinking of PubMed is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, PubMed and NCBI are linked, but you should be able to add. Does anybody
everything
know?
I publish is not in a medical journal. So if it's only limited to medical journals, then I can't use that.
What journals are you talking about?
Oh, linguistics and speech science and things like that.
And those don't show up on PubMed searches?
I don't think so.
Huh.
Not all of
surprising.
them anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Rob, Jason, and ORCID, you should be able to, and I haven't looked at this part of my ORCID profile in a while. If it's being pulled inappropriately, you can hide it, and then as the user enter the information in, it'll just indicate what the source of the information in ORCID is. So if the data that are being automatically pulled aren't correct, or like you said, they're misleading because of the way it's presented, you should be able to hide that one and then enter your own.
Okay.
As the ORCID user.
Okay. Like I said, it's been a while. I can't remember if it was ORCID that was giving me the problems, or maybe it was the Excel website when I was trying to transfer them from ORCID to Excel. So it may not be an issue here. I just wanted to ask about the possibility.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something that we can work with you on. So, again, reach out to me, and if you can't figure it out, reach out to me like I told somebody earlier, and we can jump on a call and try to work it out together.
Okay.
All right, other questions?
Yeah, yeah. Regarding the product, I have two questions. The first one is either PMCID number is required or optional, because you just show out the demo one. You provide the PMCID number, but this file, I'm not sure is just optional or just not optional.
Yeah, it doesn't pull the PMID. Yeah. It just pulls the DOI.
Yes. So my question is, during the final preparation, that is it optional or just required? That the PMCID number.
It's not required. No.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the required information for each citation is pulled directly from is pulled from ORCID, and so they don't include the PMID as part of the essential information for the citation.
Okay, thank you. The second question is regarding the product. Here let's say, for example, you select a file, right? File product. But when I prepare my new form, when I generate the PDF, it looks like the product, they miss alignment. There's no such as like this, the bullet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everything is on the same line. They say ABC or 1, 2, 3 on the same line. So I'm not sure it's a glitch or just because, here you can see you have the line perfect, right? But when you generate PDF, my version, everything just mess up, just everything on the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
It's on the same line.
Yes,
that's very strange. Yeah. I'm sure that you're not the only one that's having. It sounds like a glitch, and you're not the only one that's having that. I did not have that. I'll switch to mine. You can see. Did I put my products in here?
Yeah.
Yes. So you can see that mine are on different lines. Oh, and to answer your question, the PubMed PMID actually does get pulled and put on here. So even though it doesn't show up in Science CV, it'll show up on the PDF.
Okay.
But yeah, you just kind of use Science CV. It's going to pull the information that's required. So you don't have to, it takes some of the guesswork out of what you have to include for each citation. It pulls what it needs, and then everything is uniform.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Amy, it's
Rob?
Rob.
Yeah.
It's Rob. So we are toward the end of the time we had booked with you.
Yeah.
Can you stay longer so we can?
I can
or
stay
is that-
longer. Does anybody have any? I've kind of covered everything, all the major changes. But is there anything that I should prioritize for the remainder of our time? For those of you who have to jump off quickly, Amanda, did you have a burning question?
I just had a really quick question. If you know how to enter paragraph spacing into the personal statement, like if to make a new paragraph, because every time you try to make a new paragraph, when it populates the PDF, it just turns into a wall of text.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you can, unfortunately.
I
Yeah.
heard a rumor that you can put HTML.
That's
in.
what I had
Oh.
heard too. I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
okay.
I haven't
Mhm.
tried that yet, but just through the grapevine that works.
Yeah, I haven't tried it either. But I'll experiment with it and let you know.
Amy, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused about the contribution to science part.
Mm-hmm.
Can you because it used to be like you have like topic wise contribution to science and then you like have references down there.
Yeah.
So now we have to cite one of those 10 documents, but does it have to be like if somehow I'm like reading it as if each contribution science is one paper? Can we cite multiple papers in
You
each
can,
contribution to science?
but you can cite them. It's just you don't have the full citation under each.
Yeah,
So
but like you can refer, like basically people will read it up there. That's my assumption. But we can like reference multiple like parentheses and different citations, right?
you can reference
Not
multiple.
one per product. I'm not really clear how that should be.
It doesn't have to be one per product, but you are restricted to citing the products that you have listed in your product list, your
Yeah.
10. So this is going to be the super challenging part of this is going to be the big transition. Is selecting those 10 products. So my recommendation is write the contributions to science first before you select what products you want to include, and then select your products accordingly. So your contributions to science aren't necessarily going to be completely relevant to the project. So that's why you get 5 additional. You get the 5 that are relevant, and then the 5 up to 5 that are not necessarily relevant to the proposed project.
Got it. Thank you.
I see another hand up, but I don't know who.
It's James Aylman.
Oh, hi,
Yes, it's
James.
Yeah.
Hi, Amy. Do you have anything at this time on sharing with others who can generate information or print this out for you in your team?
Oh,
mean
like a delegate?
Yes.
Yes. You can assign a delegate, and if you'd like, would it be a good use of time for me to show you how to do that, or do you think you can? It's within Science CV.
I don't know what other people want to see. I think it's important to note that the PI still has to certify it. So you can't
Yes.
delegate that role, right?
Exactly. Yeah. If I go to Science CV, now I'm kind of forgetting where what I did, what I do. But anyway, I'll just say yes. I'm glad Rob brought that up. That the delegate can do everything. You can add a delegate to Science CV, and the delegate can do everything except certifying. So when you are ready when the delegate has everything prepared and you want to review the document, you log in to ScienceCV, and then you certify the document. Okay, so adding the delegate is fairly easy. You just add it to your account. It's not proposal specific, so you just add it to your ScienceCV account. You add the person, their email, and they can work on it for you. And I highly recommend having somebody in your sponsored programs work on it with you. Amanda is confirming that the HTML paragraph works for the personal statement. So there you go. We've crowdsourced some of these questions. Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, there's, as James pointed out, there's instructions on my slide deck, which I didn't have in front of me. So, okay. All right, well, any last questions?
This has been great, Amy. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for doing all that legwork, and your presentations are always so clear. You're an excellent teacher, so I appreciate it. So we'll get this.
Huge thank you, Amy. Just wanted to say thank you, because that was a lot of work I know you put into that, and you shared the work too with anyone who's participated in a WAG. So we appreciate your time.
Yeah, sure, of course. And, you know, I will do my best to come up to answer questions that I wasn't able to answer. I'll look up the information and see if I can get to the bottom of some of these questions. But I think we're all in the same boat, and we're trying to figure all of this out as we go. And so we'll try to just support each other and share the information as much as possible.
I think as people get more experience and figure things out, and thank you, Amanda, for verifying the HTML. I think that's great, because you can bold and italicize and put paragraphs in. But we can use the Thursday Gin calls and the Gin and Topics newsletter to share information. And if you learn something cool, it would be great to let everybody else know, how you did it, what you figured out. And I hope this process is hard at the beginning and then gets simpler as we go. But I'm sometimes overly optimistic about federal guidelines, how they end up playing out. But thank you so much, Amy. It was really, really well done.
Thanks for all the great questions.
Right. Take care,
Okay,
everybody.
yeah, feel free to reach out to me